Kaninda Resources Limited, ASX CAE on the Australian Stock Exchange, is a gold and copper explorer in Queensland, focusing on the Mount Kaninda prospect. And joining me right now is Tom Pickett, the Executive Chairman. Hello, Tom.
Hello, good afternoon.
I'm well, and I hope you are too. And by the look of things, the company is going very well. And you've just released 15 and 16, the holes 15 and 16 results. And not only that, you've raised money in the market. So please just go through the highlights for the Kaninda program so far.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good, or very good, drilling success with the program thus far. We got some fairly significant results early, which gave us a fair amount of confidence to keep going. So our first hole hit some stope after 6 meters. That was abandoned. We went to hole 2 in the exact opposite direction. That intercepted 278 meters at 1.28% copper equivalent, which was a fantastic way to start. And certainly then sort of gave us a spring in our step to continue the quest. And we led into hole 3 then, which got a huge 493 meter, 1.17% copper equivalent intercept, which is by world standards quite impressive. Yeah, exactly. So from there, we've had continued success. So hole 4 was over 1.3% copper equivalent over 80 meters. Hole 8, 278 meters at 1.26% copper equivalent. Hole 10, 295. Hole 9, 400 meters at 0.9% copper equivalent. Leading us into the sort of more recent holes, which hole 13 got 212 meters over 1% copper equivalent, which was pushing the strike further to the south. So really opening up that southern section that's had limited exploration activity over it. So we thought it was important to continue that quest. And so hole 18, which we're drilling at the moment, has stepped further out from where hole 13 was collared. And again, heading in that southwesterly direction into the unknown. And we're seeing some very good indications from the drill core that we're still in some nice breccia. And we're down to about 380 meters of that hole as we currently speak. So some very impressive results to date. And then that was obviously followed by some more recent results in hole 15 and 16. The important part about 15 was we had encountered some unmineralized dike, and we wanted to check with 16 the thickness of that, and 17 will go some way to explaining that too when we release that. The important part about that is that we established that it's quite small, only a few meters thick, so it won't affect our resource. And hole 16, like a lot of other holes, came up with a very nice intercept of 155 meters of 1.12% copper equivalent. So anytime you can get those sorts of results, you've got to be pretty impressed with your program.
Now, the MO for the company, and it's been mentioned, is that you're looking for the holy grail of the copper gold deposits, which is a large porphyry system. How far have you gone to identifying those porphyry elements?
Yeah, look, the important part about most projects, or every project, if you like, is you want to establish what you believe to be there and expand on that size. So our first priority, if you like, is to understand the expansion of the current breccia. But what we've been doing is drilling quite deep holes and getting into material that does provide us with some really good evidence of that porphyry feeder. So the idea, as you put it, the MO will be to expand upon that to deliver up to our shareholders this more bulk tonnage proposition. But importantly, we've got this high grade material sitting above that, and we're certainly still seeing evidence of that as we push out to the southwest. So it's very much watch this space, but it's excellent to see that those porphyry affinities do exist.
Yeah, and when you're talking, high grade and close to surface, you're talking actually gold at over 2 grams to the ton for the top 20 meters, well, from surface to 20 meters.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the gold star result, pardon the pun, when you can get 24 meters from surface at 2.1 grams. That's if that expands out, arguably that's an open cut on its own, right? But we've also got other holes. Hole 3, that 493 meters that I mentioned earlier, was also from surface. So it does lend itself towards a pretty good story when you can start making money all the way down to a more bulk tonnage proposition. So, of course, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of understanding the resource and expanding the size. With that comes drilling some gaps in the data, which to date have required us to drill in almost every direction and find out information. And with that, we're getting some fantastic results. So it's quite positive that we've got far more detail about that resource area, and we're also expanding that out to the southwest with the current work. So it's fantastic so far.
And the current work is hole 16 and 17 and 18. Sorry, 17 and 18. So
17 and 18, yeah. So 17's been finished, and that's currently being analysed by the lab for assay. So we expect to see the results of 17 sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll be putting that out to the market as soon as we can. And then obviously drilling 18, we're getting core sent back to our geological office in Townsville to be cut and sent to the lab as we progress through the hole. So we'll be getting 18 out as fast as possible. And we've planned another 5 holes behind that, but that will obviously then expand into some new areas as well. So we've got a bit of work to do. And as you alluded to, we have recently raised a little bit of capital, which will allow us to fulfill those plans quite effectively.
Wow. So, it looks like within the next 6 months or so, you'll have 23 holes drilled. At what point do you say, okay, well, it's time to look at a feasibility study on extraction?
Yeah, look, I think it's sort of a little bit cut before the horse. We inherited a 5.5 million tonne JORC at just under 1% copper. So I guess the first point will be an updated version of that JORC and bringing it up to the current standard, which we have been working on concurrently. But obviously, there will come a time where we need to provide a provisional position in terms of our updated JORC, which we intend to do as soon as we can put that data together. It shouldn't be too far down the track. And with that is also a little bit more of an understanding about the metallurgy. So you also want to know in terms of the percentage recovery for the metals that you're looking for. And at that point, and after a fair bit of target generation to see our target resource might be 40 or 50 million tonnes, at that point, we can start talking about where to in terms of heading toward production. But as I said, there's a few other points along the way. Certainly a significant amount of news flow before then.
Yeah, there's always considerable hurdles as a junior explorer. I think one of the advantages that Kaninda also has is that you're operating with 9 mining leases and 2 EPMs, which is a big jump from just an explorer with an exploration lease. So is the current activity within those mining lease areas?
It's not all within it, but the majority of it has been within those mining lease areas. And you're quite correct in what you point out. We are a bit different to the average in the sense that we are drilling on an existing mining lease, which does provide a little bit of an advantage in terms of not having to go through that process of application, which can take years. The other thing is the proximity to infrastructure that we enjoy, which is, we're only located 100 k's to the south of the port of Gladstone, and we've got a haul road going past the mine gate, and we've got good access to other infrastructure that's necessary to build on these things. So we're ticking a lot of boxes.
And that area is no stranger to large gold deposits. Tom, it's been great speaking to you again, and I look forward very much to hearing the outcome with 17 and 18. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Cheers for your time. Thank you.
Oh, one more thing I should say to investors is go look them up on the Australian Stock Exchange right now. And Charlie Alpha Echo CAE on the Australian Stock Exchange. Again, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.